make it such that it's a welcome note, but also it gives you the essence of the course and why and how I designed the course. And that is why I brought in the Chattanooga, Tennessee case study, which is about a city in the US which was declared as the dirtiest city in the US in 1969. And it started very, very long time ago, almost 100 years before when it was declared as the dirtiest city. In the 1870s, they had 58 industrial operations. They were the center of iron making, and towards 1920s, they were the second largest manufacturer of steam boilers. And I know for people who know about these things that, you know, whenever you think of steam boilers, you think of coal, you think of coal-fired plants, you think of dirt, you think of smoke, all those things that we have seen in videos and documentaries. So there was an unregulated boom in the industrialization in this area, and the area thought that they were relying on this manufacturing industry for their progress, but it was really compromising on the quality of their environment. And of course, they could see it, but the fact that they were declared as the dirtiest city of US, I think that hit them more as citizen and as a government and as a city. It had a huge impact on the way they wanted to act. So because this is just one case study, I wanted to put in as much information as I could on these 2-3 slides regarding the case study. The city transformed from dirtiest city in 1969 to the cleanest city, one of the cleanest cities in the USA in 2017. And in 2018, one of the articles in 2018 said that it was declared twice. It was declared one of the best cities for outdoor visits in the US. So that transformation from being the dirtiest city in the 1969 to being one of the cleanest cities in the US in the 2017 did not come overnight. And it did not come with, you know, lousy attitude. There was a lot of commitment that was made by the people, by the government, and everyone that was involved in managing city and in being a part of the city. So because they had a lot of industries, their river, the Tennessee River, had a lot of toxic waste. So everything about their environment was wrong. They had the air pollution was very, very bad. And so the transformation took such that they tried to comply to the National Environmental Quality Standards. And in doing that, they introduced very strict regulations for industries, for communities, and then they brought in a lot of public interventions. So the government provided them free electric shuttle bus services. And for those electric shuttle bus services, the power would come from solar plants. So the solar plants would give you power generation or power generation sites that would power these buses. Similarly, car parks were built on the side so that people could park their cars, pay for the parking, and then that money could be used for the maintenance of the shuttle services. They had, and if you know about the West, they have this amazing system in Netherlands and many other places where they have stations for bikes. So wherever you go, you can just take a bike from there. You know, there's a system to rent it, and then you take it, and then you can park it on any other station in the city for that bike station. So they had 33 stations in that one city for 300 bikes. So people could really take the bike and go around. So there was a bike sharing system. There was a car sharing system. People who had electric cars, they could just go and power their cars for free in the beginning. So to incentivize people, they had provided certain tools. And then, of course, the bigger threat being the coal plants, they decommissioned all 5 of their biggest coal plants. And then in that transition, they were then declared one of the top 15 cities in improving their air quality. And of course, this did not come for free, right? They had to, in order to comply to those standards, they had to form an air pollution control bureau. They had to form an ordinance. They had to comply to a certain standards. They had to improve their economic vision, which they called Vision 2000, where they said that our vision would be nature-based. or it would be tourist based, and it would not be manufacturing industry based, because they thought that manufacturing was their main source of income and integrity and economy. But they realized that only 30% of their population was earning from manufacturing. And that is why they then stopped the manufacturing industry right there, turned to nature-based economy, started tourism, built aquariums, built riverfront gardens, parks, and spaces, and also transformed the residential spaces. Because one of the things that comes with these areas which are not environmentally friendly, the poor and downtrodden are often living on the side skirts, on the, let's say, next to the coal plants, on these very dodgy areas that's not good for their health. So the city, when it made the commitment to not withhold to this infamous title, they really changed the lifestyle of those people as well. Their residential areas were improved. And somewhere you will see that in this economy, basically the people had come together, around 1,700 citizens had come together and made a list of 40 issues for the city. And for those 40 goals, they spent almost 800 million US dollars. And in the first year from the aquarium, they could get a return of 133 million US dollars. So we know that things that pollute the environment, when you try to take actions against it, it has to be costly. It comes at a huge cost. There's a huge capital cost for going green, but the return period is really fast. So for example, in this case, in the case of the aquarium and the riverfront parks, they could make a lot of money. And in a short time, it boomed as the tourist base for the US. They zoned their industries very carefully. They made it an innovative district. So instead of becoming a manufacturing city, they had a lot of startups, a lot of tech startups who were doing interesting things that made it, made people visit the city more. So just to have a quick look at what the city was like before, when it was running on coal plants, and then how the sky looked when they had gotten rid of that and turned it into a residential facility. And like I said, it came with proper engagement of the community, with meeting with the communities. They had recycling programs. They had zero emission industries, which meant that the industries had zero carbon emissions or emissions that could harm the air or the environment. And they renovated their low-income areas. And basically what happened was that people worked together to make their cities more livable and more sustainable. And the case study ends here. And with this case study, I kind of wanted to welcome you to the introduction of environmental sciences, and also say that this city had transformed, and it's taken a long time for the city to transform from a dirty city to one of the cleanest cities, from an unwelcoming city for its own citizen to a city that became a nature-based tourist resort. Similarly, I think when you go out of this course, I want you to have that kind of positive transformation. And also, the reason for sharing this case study was to show you that it's not just one person or one field that can take care of it. From the laws, rules, regulations, from engagement of the community, from the shuttle services, all of that electronic and solar and that knowledge, that couldn't have been done with one field or one area of expertise. It really needed people from multiple disciplines to come together, and the city's commitment to want to change and to want to change its image. And then they finally became what they wanted to become, which is the cleanest city, and a hub for education and tourism. So that's where the presentation kind of ends. And now I want you guys to introduce yourselves one by one, but I don't want it the traditional kind of introduction. So I'm going to throw away 2 questions at you, and you're free to answer any of them. The first one is that what are you expecting, or what are you hoping to take away from this course, or why did you enroll in this course? And the second one is, which particular local environmental issue around you bothers you the most. So I'm going to the mic now, and I hope that you can respond to this question. But before you respond to the question, you kind of introduce yourself, tell me what you're doing at LUMS, and then answer the question, but also give a brief introduction of yourself as well. So who should we start with? Maybe with the A's? Eamon, and Eamon can take the.
Assalamu alaikum, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I'm Eamon. I am a sophomore at STSP. I'm an ACF major. And one reason that I joined this course was probably to become more environmentally aware. I do believe in Pakistan especially, there are quite a lot of environmental problems. And I joined this course in order to become more conscious of them and do my part in becoming more environmentally aware so that I can at least play my part in perhaps lessening or maybe reducing some of those environmental issues at an individual level, at an individual perspective.
Great. Maybe we just follow the line. So Adeen, Eamon Rahman, and then Ali, you guys just follow. And then you can answer any of the questions. Or if anyone else is ready, they can raise their hands. And
hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Yes.
My name is Eamon Rahman. I'm a sophomore at HSS. I intend to major in English with a minor in comparative literature. I enrolled in this course because A, I had to, fulfill my requirement for a science course, and B, it's actually been really, really long since I took a science course, more than I think 8 to 9 years. And I just sort of want to, re-experience that, because here in humanities, everything's pretty different, so that one thing that really bothers me about the environment, I guess it's the very recent contemporary issue, the smog we had last year, because I feel like that was something really new for us. So, and it was quite terrifying, so that, yeah.
Okay, cool. Adeen.
So I'm Ali Haidar, and I'm a junior in STSB, ACF major. So I also enrolled in this course for sake of free elective, but now that I've read the course outline, I think it's gonna be a very informative course. What I'm expecting is to learn more about environmental problems and to better find their solutions and effective solutions.
Right. Great. I mean, I'm very happy that all of you who have a little background in science left. I understand that all of you have read science at some point in your life. Basically, this is kind of going up on the ladder in whatever you studied until 6th, 7th, 8th grade. All of us have studied water cycle. All of us have studied nutrient cycles at some point in our 6th or 7th grade. I think that's where it starts. But maybe you have lost touch with it. But it's not that you have never seen it. I think you already have. You already have the basic knowledge. We're just going to build on it such that you understand it as a, how should I say it, as in one picture, instead of studying each cycle separately. Because when I was doing my environmental sciences degree, I realized that the chemists would teach it only with the chemical perspective. And then the biologists would only tell us how the biota is related to all of this nutrient cycling. And so I ended up studying all of that multiple times in small pockets, but it didn't integrate together well. So I think here I have the opportunity to teach it the way I would have loved for it to be taught to me. And it starts with very basic science, but of course at some point we will try and build up on this. And depending on what's your appetite, I think we can go deeper and broader into learning more. So it all depends on how much you want to learn. Yes, Bisma.
Hi, so can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, so I'm also in HSS. I'm a sophomore, and I joined. Reading the course description was a bit daunting at first because I was like, okay, this is a bit too sciencey. But then I read that we're also going to study laws relating to the environmental laws in Pakistan, and I think it'll be very relevant for us now because like recently the Karachi floods like impacted even my house a lot. Like there was no electricity, and I just want to know what the laws are like because there was still water inside our houses, and it took like 3 weeks to like take it all out. So it would be pretty interesting to know, okay, what what laws we have regarding the environment in Pakistan. So yeah.
Yeah, so I think with this, the best thing about environmental sciences is that it comes with all of these other things: the philosophy, the regulation, the all the stakeholders that are important. So we studied a lot of these things when we were doing our undergrad and MS, and I think that's the kind of perspective that everyone should have. And LUMS has this eye; they teach their engineers philosophy as much as, or at least they try and inculcate that sense in them. And I think it just needs to reciprocate onto the social sciences side as well. So the social sciences people need to understand the science, just like we need to understand anthropology or sociology or humanity. I think you need to understand the science as much as we need to understand your side. So it's more about blurring these boundaries and understanding that without people, without all of this community engagement, in the end, we're not going to be able to do anything. But also without the science, we cannot go anywhere. Science is the basis for it. Its implementation can vary because it would be different people, different setups, different environments, but the science remains at the base of it. So we will try and master it and then look at multiple things. I have designed quite a few things that everyone will enjoy, I think. And you will see as we go through, for example, the role plays for mercury pollution or a social issue. I think you will enjoy knowing how environmental negotiations happen over a water issue, over a flooding issue, over water rights issue. So you not only need to understand the science, but you also need to be a good negotiator. So that's the kind of knowledge that I would like you to go away with, knowing what to talk and how to talk, but also knowing what it is, right? Hassan.
Hassan here. So I am a physics senior.
Oh, very
and
good.
Right, and my research is based on the third generation of solar cells.
Okay.
And what I'm going to be doing is going to impact the environment. So my idea was basically that I should have a formal course in environmental studies, environmental sciences. So that was my motivation for taking the course. And something that bothers me about the environment, I'm from Karachi, so pollution was one of the big things. And COVID basically made me realize that when people were just sitting inside, industries were closed and there were no cars, the environment did become a lot better. We also got rain, maybe a little too much, but things can improve. It's a good motivation for me to keep at it.
So Hassan, just for everyone else to know, Hassan, what do you think are the negative impacts of solar cell? Because we know it's a zero emission area, so there wouldn't be any emissions from it. But there is an environmental hazard associated with it. What do you think is that?
It, as far as I know, it mostly has to do with the manufacturing process, because the kinds of materials that we're using, the way you extract them, the way you have to use them, like in the manufacturing process, making those new materials, those can take up a lot of resources and can create waste. And that is something that we're working on. One of the fields, this is something that I worked on early. I no longer work on this, but it's called dye-sensitized solar cells.
Right.
And it's a little technical, but the point is that they're basically trying to come up with chemicals that are better suited for the environment and can still give you good enough efficiency so that it can be commercially viable.
Right, great. So I also, because one of the questions was Have you read anything recently on environment that has inspired you? Any article, any post on social media? So I think a couple of days ago, I came across two posts that really inspired me. One was this solar panel, um, which these researchers have designed with quantum dots, which I think Hassan will understand better, but it's for everyone else to know that these are these nanoscale semiconductors that have the qualities, optical and electronic, which we need for solar cells. And they did that, and it can be installed in the windows, right? It's a very basic concept. Everyone knows solar. Everyone probably works with quantum dots. But to just sit beside your window and think that this window is actually capturing the solar light and then turning it into electricity for your home, I think it was such a great idea. It just made my day. So I wanted to share it soon after Hassan finishes his talk. And next is Daniel.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Daniel and I am a computer science major. I am a senior, and the reason I wanted to study this course is I recently came to know that Pakistan is one of the most affected countries by climate change. So I wanted to know how we can help reduce the effects of climate change. And as Eamon also mentioned, particularly how to reduce the air pollution, because that is something which has significantly and visibly gotten worse over the years. So this is why I wanted to take this course.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah, I mean, one thing that I forgot to mention while someone else was talking about the laws, there is so much science even there as well. And similarly, in a lot of these techie related problems, there would be a lot of social sciences there as well. So I think you need to understand that that interface between social sciences and sciences. And when I share tasks with you, with the social scientists and with the more hardcore scientists, I will share different tasks with you after each lecture, and you will understand that how you could benefit from it. Because if you want to make sure that the environment is good, but you don't even know what the national environmental quality standards say, whether you have a standard for wastewater treatment or not, whether you have a policy for water or not, then you're not really going to do anything, right? Because in the end, you need those policies to make the change that you claim that you're going to make. So that's something that I think will establish in the course. Aman goes next.
Assalamu alaikum, ma'am. I am Aman and I am from SCSC SOF, computer science major. And can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. And the reason I found this course very interesting was the recent global changes we have, like global warming and global climate change. And recently, our government has taken this issue of environmental crisis seriously more than ever. So, and how we are going with the plantation drives for the betterment of our environment, and how this recently how smog has affected the cities of Pakistan. So I think by this studying this course, I have better approach towards how our environment actually work, and how we can make the betterment in more effective way by studying this course.
Thank you. Azhan, your turn. Azhan, can you hear me? Okay, can someone else volunteer and raise their hands? Yes, Maham.
It's Mala.
Okay.
I'm an HSS sophomore, and I don't know if it's relevant, but the way people dispose of their household wastes, it has always bothered me. My family travels a lot, but I've not once seen someone take it seriously. Matlab, people are like, kachra hi hai, kahin pe bhi phek do. So I feel like there should be some awareness that how this little something can cause too much of problems.
Yeah, this is very relevant. That's exactly why we are here, to to see that why at the end of it, it's all public behavior, whether that's a government official or whether that's a citizen. In the end, it's all about changing that public behavior, and that's what we're all striving for. That's what the economists are studying. That's what the social scientists are studying. That, okay, now we have established that this is dangerous for the environment. Now we have proved with research that this shouldn't work the way it's working. But how do we make the public to take action against it? How do we make them follow these steps that we're asking them to follow? So I think it's a great point, and again, it's an interface between science and sociology. So, Maham.
Right.
Right. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Maham. I'm a freshman at HSS. And the reason why I chose this
यार
course
इसका
is
माइक ही नहीं
because...
चल रहा.
Ashan, you need to
Can you hear
mute
me?
yourself, and Maham, yeah, keep talking.
Okay, sorry. Right, so the reason why I chose this course is because throughout my A-levels, I had global perspectives and research in my A-levels, and throughout the last 2 years, all of my research, my projects, my essays were all on environmental issues. And in doing that, I realized that one of the most important environmental issues that bothers me the most is that of water sanitation, especially in slum areas. So I hope that by the end of this course, I've gained enough knowledge to actually come up with a viable solution that can help solve the issue of water sanitation in slum areas, not just in Pakistan, but globally as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Great. Manal or Manal? I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your names wrong. I'll get it right.
It's fine. It's Manal.
Manal.
So one of the reasons why I took this course is because I was hoping that I would be able to learn about some tangible policies that could be implemented that would be the most feasible in order to tackle different environmental issues. So, for example, the case study that we just did, you gave gave us the full rundown of how there was an ordinance, how there was direct legislation, and there were different policies like bike sharing and car sharing that were helpful in overcoming the sort of title of the dirtiest city. So I feel that policies like that are very important to discuss and to learn about, which is one of the reasons why I took this course. And then the second question that you asked, I feel that it's a bit difficult to answer because obviously when you look at environmental issues, they're all equally disturbing and dire, I feel. So if I had to choose one, I think I would look at something that I recently observed, which is deforestation. So there's this place outside my house, and there's this road with a row of trees, and I recently saw them all being cut down. So I feel that problems, environmental issues, they prop up all around us, and as they prop up, they disturb us, and we can't really do anything tangible about it, or we don't know how to fix it. So that's one of the reasons why I'm here, and hopefully we can keep at it and find a solution.
Yes. Neha.
Hi, I'm Neha. I'm a HSS Soft with a hopeful major in English. I'm expecting this course to be quite interdisciplinary, which is not something you usually expect from a STEM. So not only do I hope to understand the science of it, but also the practical implementation of it. And an environmental issue that bothers me is less of an issue and more of a reaction to the urgency of it. I feel like privilege allows you to distance yourself from the urgency and the impetus of this issue to an extent. And that has started to disappear now, like the boundaries that allowed a certain class to ignore such issues, which has allowed for this specific field to gather more importance, which has in result made it more interesting to me for studying.
Yeah. Thank you for putting it so rightly. I never... So I'm happy that you're doing an English major and also are here to understand the science and the policy and everything else. I recently came across a song which was an animated song, and it was about trophy hunting or hunting ibexes in Hunza. And it hit me perhaps more than any other formal lectures on hunting and poaching that I've otherwise seen. So yes, sometimes the way you present things and sometimes the emotions that it comes with, especially if you have an understanding of the issue, the visual can create more impact than maybe the hardcore science. And that is exactly why I wanted this course to be there. And I know it's a big challenge to cater to such a diverse cohort, but I'm sure that we will take something out of this that will benefit. Maybe you guys will collaborate in future as a English major, and as someone who's working with solar panels, maybe you get to collaborate with each other. So we'll see. Who's next? Raise your hand so that I know you're ready. And stop raising your hands if you have already spoken. Let's go with Azhan because he's been trying to speak.
Yeah. Ma'am, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Great. So, Assalamu alaikum everyone. I am Mohammad Azan, a senior student majoring in chemistry. So basically the motivation to join this course is that I have planned to do PhD in environmental chemistry. So I thought it's better to have a course where I can understand the foundation of environmental sciences. Like, and the question about the environmental issues that bother me the most is like, I think global warming due to the excessive combustion of fossil fuel with the one issue that interests me the most. So I think that in particular, energy could be generated through water splitting, and I think it could like somehow replace the use of fossil fuels in future.
Yeah, thank you, Azhan, and all the best. I hope you learn what you are here to learn, and I hope that others benefit from your experience as well. Yes, Taha.
Hello, my name is Taha Siddiq. I am an Econ Pol senior with a minor in history. And my motivations for taking this course were mostly a sort of change of pace. While I recognize that I do have a large variety of courses which I can take from, haven't really had any experience with when it comes to sciences in any sort of form. So that was mostly why I chose to take this course. And so amongst the questions where what I expect to take from this class is actually the same, is similar to what the other seniors said that they're researching on. That's actually what I want to know about, that how far have we come in a practical, in a practical way for specifically third world countries. So tying that into the second question, I want to personally understand that Pakistan as a third world country without the monetary resources that other countries have, does it bear a similar burden as countries such as Scandinavian countries or whatnot, which already have the financial wealth to take these initiatives forward? So in that regard, I don't know whether it's even a priority for Pakistan yet, considering all the other problems that it's facing right now. And well, I hope this course teaches me more about that.
Yeah, I hope so. And it has to become a priority. And I think government's trying to take action, but it's not integrated yet. But we are getting there. Drosham. Oof, I'm so bad at taking names. Drosham.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. So I'm a SSC junior and I'm doing my majors in biology. So almost all the out groups and like especially SSC courses that I have taken so far were pretty much confined in terms of the relationship that we have with our environment. So I believe that this course is going to like provide us with a very good opportunity to learn and understand the implications of our actions on environment. I mean, every other day we hear about these environmental crises on news, but personally, I believe I do not really know how to go about what I have to do on an individual level to overcome these crises. So I guess that's something that I'd get to learn from this course. Thank you.
Thank you. So I can see that the composition of the class has changed, because from in the beginning, there were a lot of management and economics students, but I think a lot of people have dropped and new people have come on, which is good because it's diverse and there's science, a mixture of science and social science. Iman.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Iman Ali. I'm an SDSB SOF and my intended major is management science. The reason I took this course is because I had EM in O levels and A levels, and I always thought it was very interesting. I've always been very interested in studying about the environment and knowing about sustainable ways in which we can protect the environment. Two important environmental issues I think we need to highlight more on are deforestation and eutrophication, because I believe, like, even though there is some awareness on deforestation now, not a lot of people know what eutrophication is and about its disastrous effects on the environment. So the reason I took this course is that I can get to know more ways in which I can actually help improve the environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Iman. And then there is another Iman Said.
Hello everyone, I'm an HSS sophomore, and the reason I took this course is, well, because mainly I'm looking for hope that we can actually fix the environment, because everything's so dire and really gloomy these days. And the second reason is that I'm a potential econ major, and hopefully I'm looking to go into something like international economics, so this course will really help with that.
Okay, great. Who's next? Should I announce who's next, or do you want to raise your hands and let me know you're ready? Fateh.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Fateh Shai. I am a sophomore in HSS with a major in history and a minor in political science. Why I took this course is because I failed Cal 1 last semester and I need a course to fill my STEM bucket.
Right.
So, but one thing regarding the environment that does concern me greatly so is the excessive use of plastics, particularly single-use plastics. Excessive use, like such as plastic straws, plastic bottles. In fact, bottles can even be used more than once, but they aren't being used here properly. So as a result, they keep on getting dumped, and we have seen these huge landfills around Lahore, where I am.
Yeah, yeah. So I had the opportunity to go for the microplastic project that we're doing. We went to these dump sites. So I was told that Mehmood Booty is the dump site, and I went there and they've closed Mehmood Booty dump site, like heaps, which is now all covered, so you can't see. But just outside of it, because it had rained 2 days ago, there was like thick red liquid coming out of it, which I couldn't tell what it was, but it was basically coming from all that waste that was piled there. And then I was told that the active dump site is actually Lakhoder. And so I went to Lakhoder to collect another sample, and all you could see was plastic, which is why I also speak a lot against plastic. I mean, I'm not an enemy of the plastic. I understand that it has made our lives very easy, and a lot of things in our lives work because plastic exists. But yes, this single-use plastic and this consumer culture and throwing away plastic and all of this environment filled with trash that majorly compromises of plastic also bothers me a lot. So something needs to be done, and maybe we can take that action with us when we leave this course behind. Who wants to go next? Has everyone spoken? Paul, you haven't spoken, or have you?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you're going next.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Paul Javed, and I am chemistry major senior. And I wanted to pursue my graduate studies in analytical chemistry. So the reason I am taking this course is the first step in when we are solving any problem, we have to know what is the problem. So analytical chemistry basically deals with what are the pollutants. So as far as I know, Pakistan does not have any labs or systems that can that can measure the pollutants or know what are the pollutants. There are certain uh, things that Lahore Punjab Environmental Agency is measuring, which is the particulate matter, but we don't know what is the particulate matter, what is the composition of it. So my so I want to take this course so that I can know about the in a broad spectrum what are the problems of Pakistan regarding environmental sciences, so we can solve them. So if we know that what are the problems, we can measure them and then we can solve. So this is my basic reason for taking this course.
Thank you. Yeah, so perhaps there are labs like PCSIR, PCRWR, but the problem with Pakistan, I think, is lack of information sharing. That there's no single resource pool where you could go and access this, and you need to know someone who needs to know someone who can get you a certain something about the things that you want to do, which is, I think, very unfair. And we know about this because we've been in the picture for a while. But I agree with you that we need information for all of this. And from what I've heard so far, a lot of you are interested in air pollution and smog, and I understand why that is, because seeing is believing. You've seen it, you've suffered, and you want to do something about it. We will study it. So particulate matter 2.5 and under, and what it means. Is it just the good old humble dust, or is it something very, very toxic? We will figure that out, and we'll also figure out how the industries, by installing scrubbers and other things, can cut it down, or how can we change our actions as it change it. So who's next? Has everyone introduced? All people who haven't introduced themselves, please raise your hands. Zainab.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm Zainab and I'm an HSS sophomore. So there are two reasons why I took this course. One of them is that I wanted to fulfill my STEM bucket. And the other reason is that I'm from a pre-medical background and I have already studied environmental sciences in biology and chemistry. And it was always a topic of interest for me. So I was really excited and I came to know about this course. So I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. And I hope that I do not disappoint you. Hanan.
Hi, my name is Hanan and I'm a CS senior at SSC. So my major motivation for taking this course is that I want to educate myself. I believe that no matter how disconnected we feel, I mean, I sit in front of a computer almost all my day, but in the end, I am connected to my environment. And as a responsible citizen of Pakistan, it's about time we educate ourselves and take care of our environment. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you said the right thing. So in our environmental sciences courses that we took in our undergrad, a lot of emphasis was put on indoor environment. And the reason for that was because we're disconnecting from the outdoor environment with every passing day. And we just prefer to stay inside with our screens on. And if you see a lot of introduction or induction courses outside, they tell you how to keep your posture good, taking breaks and doing exercises, breathing exercises, keeping good ventilation and aeration in the room, having plenty of sunlight. So all of those things, and also about germs, that if there is not proper ventilation, a lot of research takes place on what kind of bacteria and fungi could be found at different elevations in a room. And there are like all sorts of exciting things happening in that area as well. And how the air changes when there are a certain number of population in a room, and how the temperature changes and how it changes the mood. And people are now associating a lot of these environmental issues with mental health issues, because if there is congestion, if you're in the road, if it's warm, your behavior changes as well, and a lot of mental health issues are associated with it too. But we'll look at those. Hassan Shahid.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Hassan. I'm an econ senior, and the sole purpose due to which I took this course was that I'm offering environmental sciences in my CSS exam right after my graduation. So I thought that it would be a good chance for me to get a gist of it from while studying this course at LUMS, and it will prepare me in a better manner while I'll give the exam.
Yeah, I think for CSS, one of the best exams to take is environmental sciences, because I'm sure you you will enjoy it while you study it. And a lot of it is, I think, the conventions and all of that you need to understand. I will teach it in the section where I talk about sustainable development goals and laws and rules, because
Please carry on.
yeah, so I've realized that everything is around that. Even the funding that we have to apply for example, this LCF funding that I wrote recently, it specifically asked us to nominate the specific sustainable development goals that we will be looking at, the different intersections and particular indicators that we wanted to achieve. So I think it's also an area that everyone needs to know, because this is where all the discussion is happening these days.
Exactly.
Okay, Seemal.
Thank you.
So, hi everyone, my name is Seemal and I'm an Econ Math senior here at LUMS. The sole purpose of taking this course was that last semester I took a course named Environmental Studies. I really enjoyed that course and found it interesting, and I thought that taking this course would further build upon my existing knowledge of environment and the environmental problems that we are facing. And what bothers me the most is the plastic pollution that is really high these days, and I believe that it is the real game changer considering in terms of the environment problems that we are facing.
So Seemal, what did you study in the environmental studies? What would you say were the 3-4?
It was basically about the solutions and the reasons behind the problems that really are occurring in these days.
So if I ask,
I think carry on.
If I ask you what was your major takeaway from that course that has now motivated you come and attend this course, what would that be? Like that one thing that told you that I'm going to stay on this stream.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of the environmental issues and its impact on the environment more generally. Therefore, I thought that taking this course will further strengthen upon my knowledge, and in order to make an individual difference, I need to know more about it. That was the reason.
Okay, great. So I hope that everyone has introduced themselves. Has everyone introduced themselves? So in the next class, I'll also have some room for you to discuss, because I think in the first weeks we'll have some room for discussion, but after that we really need to start the intensive training. But there I'll kind of talk about environment as a system, as a closed system, where nothing's coming in, nothing's going out, and that includes the sun and the solar light. And in that closed system, we'll try and understand how everything is just coming back and nothing's being completely destroyed. It's just changing forms and types and is remaining in that closed system, and how that impacts us and our lives, and kind of connected to basic food production and decomposition cycle. So I can see that Dr. Abu Bakr has joined us, who's the Executive Director of the Center for Water Informatics. I just wanted to see if he wants to say something to all of you or advise something to me, if he's listening.
Assalamu alaikum. Fawzia, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
ठीक है, मैं I'm trying to turn on my camera, लेकिन मैं एक और device के ऊपर मेरे ख्याल में I've just logged in. By the way, I was listening to the lecture while driving back home.
Okay.
Mashallah, I think it's a great bunch. और आप लोग I'm very excited. I think this will be a very exciting class as well. So मेरी तरफ से be welcome सब लोगों को. I'm really looking forward to some collaborations being forged here. I can see that मैंने काफ़ी लोगों की कहानी सुनी है ड्राइव करते हुए, और मुझे बड़ी खुशी हुई है कि there are students from all over the schools. जूनियर लेवल के स्टूडेंट्स भी हैं, सीनियर लेवल के स्टूडेंट्स भी हैं, फ्रेशमैन भी हैं, SDSP से स्टूडेंट्स हैं, SSC के स्टूडेंट्स हैं. तो आई थिंक दिस विल बी इंशाल्लाह हैप्पी बंच. और मैं आपको कभी कभी तंग करता रहूँगा. I also want to learn about many of the things from you and the students as well, or any support that you or the students need from either the center or the department. By the way, I'm also associated with the electrical engineering department. So in whatever capacity I can be of any help, please let me know.
Yeah, I think we will bother you for one lecture at least, because Dr. Abu Bakr is doing a lot of amazing things on environmental monitoring, using all of his tech gadgets. And I think it would be interesting for the kids to know how you're doing it, what motivated you to do it, and a little bit about the technology, like basics, so that if they come across these technologies in future, they know exactly what someone means by IoT and exactly what someone means by GIS or a dashboard, or all of those terms that they could come across as policymakers, as decision makers, or even more, you know. So I think we would need your support there. So thank you so much. And thank you for approving this course and bringing it to the students.
नहीं नहीं, it's your initiative. आपका baby है ये, हमारा role इसमें बड़ा minimal सा है. And best of luck with the course, or best of luck to all the students. And I'll keep popping in to learn from all of you, inshallah.
Thank you, sir. So I think I will try and end here with another slide, and then I will take any questions that you have for me. So I think the weeks to follow will tell you sun has a major role to play. Whatever we talk about, the solar system and sun in particular will have a major role to play in it. And you will see why I talk about it, whether you're speaking about climate change or anything else, we'll always bring in our dear sun into the picture. So that would be at the center of a lot of discussions that would happen, especially with reference to energy, especially with reference to food production, and especially with reference to food cycle. And then, as I said, the nutrient cycles and the way they're being taught to the students, I have huge disagreements with it. So I will teach it to you, and I will request you to keep a paper with you when I teach you the cycles, because I want you to put it on one paper. So I don't want you to teach the cycles separately. I want you to draw them while I teach them to you. So the basic cycles. And then, for example, if 2 weeks later I tell you that these are the human impacts on it, I want you to draw all of that on one paper so that you know exactly how those microorganisms, those elements, the sun, the animals are a part of that cycle. So that would, I think, be another key as well, which if you learn it the way I think that you should learn it, I hope that it would benefit you in your general day-to-day lives as well. And biodiversity. Pakistan is such a rich country. Someone said that we are going to be impacted by climate change the most, which is true, although our contribution to climate change is very little. But because of how diverse we are and the kind of climate that we have, we're going to be the 5th country most vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. And saying it is not as scary as I think seeing some of the events that we have seen. Because I know I'm from Hunza, and I know exactly what happens when there's excessive rain and when the rivers flood, or if there's glacial melt and the river level rises, because our bridges are not strong. The roads we have are provided by the Chinese. So that infrastructure combined with climate change just makes life worse for us, because we don't have any other route to communicate with the rest of the world apart from Karakoram Highway. And all of that is then connected to the kind of biodiversity that we have, because it's the varying climates give us the opportunity to have the beautiful biodiversity that this country has, and then it being a path for all of these migratory birds that come from Russia and many other places. We will try and establish those connections about nature, about human intervention into nature, about its negative impacts and positive impacts as well. We don't only have to look at the negative things we are doing, but also of the living in harmony with nature. And something that I mentioned in the previous slides, I really liked it, nature-based economy, or a nature-based tourism, or ecotourism. Those terms are really emerging as a contemporary term in the current world. So we have 10 more minutes, and I now open the floor for you if you have any queries at all. And if about the course, about the outline, about anything else, if you have a question, please share it with me. Daniel.
Ma'am, I noticed there was another course being offered called Environmental Studies. Is that a different course or the same as this one?
That's a different course. So that's why I asked Seemal what she studied in there. I think it's designed more for social scientists, and they try not to be more sciencey about it. But it is a different course, I think. And I'm sure it's open for everyone.
Fawzia, if you allow me, can I say a few words about
Yes,
that?
sir. Yes, sir. Because I don't know.
अच्छा. Yeah, so एक तो बिल्कुल आपने ठीक बताया कि that's environmental studies course with a sort of a non-science angle, और जो हमारे science majors हैं, they will actually find that course to be very very useful. It's a perspective which is very important. दूसरी न्यूज़ मैंने आप सारे ग्रुप को ये देनी थी कि in principle it has been agreed that we will have an environmental studies minor inshallah at LUMS. So if that goes through, I think hopefully in the next couple of months that you will hear that news. So the course that you are taking right now, environmental sciences, and the other course, introduction to environmental studies, this will be the core for that minor. और of course उसके साथ कुछ science bucket से courses होंगे, कुछ SS bucket से courses होंगे. So I mean these two courses are purposely sort of co-designed in a way कि ये complementary आपको points of view दे रहे हैं. तो please अगर आपका इसमें इस area में interest है, and if you find this particular course useful, maybe आपको दूसरा course भी लेना चाहिए. और SSC में we plan to actually offer more courses in the future. Just for example, we are thinking about introduction to earth system science, physics majors, but उसको काफी enjoy कर सकते हैं. Biology majors उसको enjoy कर सकते हैं, and others as well. और इसके अलावा climate physics के ऊपर और दूसरे इस तरह के subjects पे. At the same time, SS में तो इस वक्त already काफी courses offer हो रहे हैं. Like water economics पे courses हो रहा है, environmental economics पे courses हो रहा है, humanities में भी मुझे पता है कि there is a lot going on. तो अगर आपका interest है इस area के अंदर, तो ये these will be the two foundational courses, one with a science angle and the other with sort of a more of a social sciences angle. और इनके ऊपर आप build कर सकते हैं towards a minor, inshallah. So I think this very soon you will hear the good news on that.
Great, thank you, sir. Bisma, you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, do we have readings for the next few classes, and also how will CP be marked? Will we write responses? Will it be written CP or like in class or something like that?
Yeah, okay. So a lot of people ask me questions about the marking, and I think it is going to evolve, and the evolution depends on how useful I think the marking system is. If there are people who are speaking in the class, participating in the class, and I believe they deserve the marks, we will give it that way. But if it's not because of technical issues or any other glitches, people are not able to take part in that kind of discussion, of course, there will be a task for you to take home and then get back to me, which one of such tasks is on the screen at the moment. And the reason for you to take this task away today is I want to see a clear difference on how learning this course makes you change or upgrade the issue that you look at. So class participation is important. Assignments also, I mean, I have different ways in which I would engage you. For example, in the form of a role play. In that role play, there is a lot of negotiation skills that I basically picked those case studies up from Harvard. And I think when I took part in one of those discussions, I found it really useful. I always knew about the Gaza Strip. I always knew about the groundwater dispute between Israel and Gaza, but I never really, and I knew about groundwater, I knew about the water availability, but I never really knew exactly what kind of discussion takes place when two countries come and see each other about it. So I think there would be a lot of things for you to learn, because you cannot go there and negotiate without knowing what the depth of the water is, how much water is available, how much water is required. And that's the kind of things that I want you to learn in this course as well. So even with the exams, I think I'm going to have to see whether it's going to be the traditional disappearing MCQs or even a one-to-one Viva. I will have to see, but I want you guys to benefit from that. That is That is my intention. And I think the course marking, we can work it out. But I will speak with a few people who've already done virtual courses in the previous semester to get a better sense of what would be the best mechanism to mark you. But right now it's not decided, so I will not disclose anything. But I have sort of a general outline, so I think it should help you.
Thank you.
Who's next? Drosham.
Yeah, so I was wondering, like, with respect to my previous email to you, will you be like force enrolling students in this course?
Oh yeah, so I let you join the class because I wanted you to see what I'm going to teach and then decide.
Yeah.
So I've heard that people might drop the course. If that is the case, then I will definitely let you in. I will request Noman to.
So should I like email you or like email someone else who is concerned with this thing, because since obviously I'm not enrolled in this class right now, so I won't be getting any emails or any LMS notifications like right now from this course.
That's fine. I will let you know. I have your request written with me. So what I will do now is, because almost 10 students did not participate in this class today, right? So I have to make the reason why they missed the class, whether they're not interested or whether it's anything else. So as soon as that is sorted, and I think as soon as I know if anyone's dropped the course, I should be able to let those who really want to take the course in, because there are two or three people who've requested me that they always want to take the course. So I will make an exception.
Okay, thank you so much.
Iman?
I have a question regarding the home task. You've asked us to talk about our area of training, right? So what do you mean by that?
By your area of training, I mean, if you're a computer scientist, just think about how you will use that knowledge in solving a particular environmental issue or crisis in Pakistan. So if you are, let's say, if you've just enrolled in the university, maybe you can use your previous knowledge. Some of you said you've studied environmental management or introduction to environmental sciences. Whatever you think you have learned so far. So by area of training, I mean economists look at economic solutions to the problem. Electrical engineers look at the electrical engineering solutions to the problem that bothers you the most. But if you are new and if you haven't really studied anything, then I will give you scope to kind of learn as you do the task. Yeah, it's just for you to get started with the course, because I'm not giving you a reading, as it's still changing. So I want to make sure that once I start giving reading, everyone is on board. So hopefully that would be next week onwards. But in this week, I just want to engage you. Of course, for this, you will go online and hunt a few things, search, read. That will also be, in a way, informal reading. So does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Who is next? Fateh.
Yeah, okay. So I wanted to ask, will we have any TAs for this course?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I have requested for a TA for this course. I have also kind of advertised amongst my close circle, and then I have a former student in the biology department who I basically spoke about this with Dr. Wabakar today, because I think I'm going to need some support. And then for a few activities, I might take some support from the centers, but yes, we will have a TA for this course soon. Is there, so what do you guys expect the TA to do for you that the faculty can't? I just want to understand, how are the TAs more useful in a certain course? Or is it a wrong question? Okay.
TA can help with the grading. If there are any logistical issues with our marks or something, we can go to the TA for help.
Yeah.
And also, if the instructor is not able to cater to all the students in office hours, then we can go to TAs for questions.
Okay, yeah, I think we will have someone very soon. I can promise you that. Azhan, you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. I have a question regarding the home task. So basically, I'm a chemistry major. So will you accepting the technical details? Uh, like I would love to write about technical things that I am thinking right now
Yeah.
that would possibly improve the environmental crisis.
Keep coming to me. Sorry, I'm too excited and I don't listen and start talking. But your task is going to come to me and it will give me an understanding of how much you know, right? The same thing that I wanted to figure out in this class. So it's good for me if you don't go too, don't do too much research, because it's more about what you know. But if you're new and you want to read more and do something nice and light, I mean, go ahead and do it. But it's just for me to understand exactly where you stand at the moment and where do I want to see you stand at the end of the course. So,
okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Hassan.
Yeah, ma'am, from the area of training, do you mean our major area or what?
Yeah, your major. So basically your major, whatever it is. If it's politics.
Okay. Okay. So if my major is economics, so should I be targeting the environmental crisis through a policy making side, or should I suggest a solution sort of thing?
Yeah. So for example, if you are, so I don't know what you've studied so far, but for example, implementation of policies is an issue. For example, like I said, like changing human behavior is an issue. Introducing policies in certain areas is an issue. So you could talk about that as well, or you could talk about that you.
Yeah, for example, if there's a water sewerage issue in my area where I'm currently administrating, so if I suggest a solution to that particular thing, so will it be all right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I asked you to stay in your areas because I wanted you to let me know what your grasp is. But if you have the capability to go beyond it and know more, go ahead and do it.
Thank you.
Okay, who's next? Natasha?
Assalamualaikum, Miss. I just wanted to confirm, is this task going to be graded and is it going to count as an assignment, or is it just going to count as like written CP or neither?
It's written CP.
All right. And secondly, so when is this due? And is it supposed, I mean, obviously we're going to email it. So can you tell us about the due date also?
I will tell you about it. It's probably going to be before next class. But I think I will, do you generally submit it on LMS or would you prefer a doc folder? What do you prefer in your general class?
I think either works. LMS is usually more convenient.
So we will, let's say we submit it on, can you submit it on your own on LMS or should I create a task for you?
I think you need to create this submission thing on the assignments tab, and that's where we go and submit it. That's how it usually works.
Okay, so I will do that for you on, and you will have to let's say submit it before the next one. Have the entire week to work. And I kept it small because I don't want you to stress too much over this, but it will be as counted as your written CP. Natasha, have you spoken already, or do you want to?
No, I think that was covering it. Thank you.
Roshan.
Yeah, so if you are going to upload this written CP task on LMS, then I guess like people like me who are not enrolled yet in this class, won't that be a bit difficult for us?
You can email.
Or like,
you can email.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay, great.
The reason why I wanted to share it here was for everyone, because I know that some people are still struggling to get in. So that's why I shared it, so that you know that this is due. And it's not hard and fast. It's just for me to get to know you better. All right. Are we good to end the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, super. Thank you so much for coming, attending, speaking, and taking part in the class. And I look forward to seeing you in the next class. And I hope that you don't drop out and that we can successfully carry on. And those of you who are waiting, I hope that you can be force enrolled soon. And let's get learning. And I am reading your chat now, but I will see if if I have missed anything important, I will respond to you via email. If you have any queries, because I have some time on my hand these days, you can email it to me. I will get back to you definitely. And then in the meantime, we'll arrange for a TA to facilitate you better. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you, ma'am. Goodbye.
Goodbye.